I created this theme to avoid copyright. I created this theme to avoid copyright. I created this theme to avoid copyright. Welcome to Grandpa's World.
All right. Here we are after a week off. Couple of slackers. And
We are back.
yeah, I had to take the week off. I had too much bullshit going on and didn't do the 2 weeks I didn't do sideshow, but I was like I only needed to skip this for 1 week. So here we are. So it wasn't your fault. It was my fault.
You coming back with the sideshow next week?
Yeah, next week will be the sideshow. I've got that all ready to go because I missed it. But I had the week before. I had way too much stuff to do. The wife had just came back. I had too much stuff to do. And then yesterday was the gun club's monthly meeting.
How
So
was that, man?
it was good. It was good. I'm trying to be more active. I'd like to be an RSO, so I want to go to all the meetings and whatnot. So once a month. So instead of doing sideshow 4 times a month, probably just three. So
Yeah, 'cause you got to be involved with that, man. Now, is that
yeah.
like at range or where is that? Like at
Well,
the
they have two. They have two locations. They have a range here in Janesville, across from right next. They're right next door. It's a private range next door to the Angie. Right across the street from where their plant was. And your guy used to have that club, that Crazy Reds or whatever.
yeah, I know where it's at.
Yeah, it's there at that intersection. Um, that one's just for handguns. And then if you want to shoot, obviously handguns, or you want to shoot a rifle or a shotgun, you got to go out to the Milton range. But the
Right.
Milton range is so much bigger. You can only go there if you are a SSO, which means you're a solo shooter and you've been certified, which I haven't done yet. So I got to work on that too. So if I go to the range in the Milton, I have to go when there are people there. But I think I'm gonna go get me a shotgun so I can start. They do clays there, where you can shoot the clays. So I think I'm gonna try to
Nice.
try to do that. But I don't own a shotgun, so I got to get a 12 gauge for that. But other than that,
Now,
no, they got the two ranges. I mainly go to the one in Janesville and just shoot either my 9mm or my wife's 380. I have a 6 shooter 22, but I try not to. I bought that one not for the use. I bought that
just
one
to look
for
at.
just
Yeah.
to look at, because growing up as a kid in the 70s, our grandparents were big into the Bonanza and all the John Wayne and Western. So growing up as a kid, I always wanted a 6 shooter. So this company, American something, they make replicas. So I just have that mainly to look at.
Now, I thought there was another range out in Janesville, kind of like out by the DMV, kind of, but that
Um,
was years ago.
yeah, there's one nearby, but it's for the state police, and Janesville's police department use it. I forgot where it's at. I think it's out near the
Yeah, kind of. I don't know that road, Delavan Drive, I think,
yeah.
like way out there or off Delavan Drive out there. So
And
that's
so
that's you could always go out there and hear them shooting the guns off and everything, and
right. And
great
then
stuff.
and they do tactical days where you can do running guns and stuff like that, and they set it all up. So they're a nice gun club, you know, pay your dues and get to go shoot. A lot of people don't go to the meetings though. They only go to the yearly meeting for the elections, and usually because the majority of people that join the club just do it to go shooting. Because there is a range. Me and my wife went there. It was like an hour and a half away, going towards Kenosha, but close to the Illinois border. Eagle something is the name of the town. I don't know. I'm not familiar with it, but we drove out there once. But it was like $20 to go shooting there. And I thought about it. I'm like, I can either pay $20 a pop to drive all the way out there, or I can pay 200 something dollars a year and drive to freaking Delavan and fucking Jackson and go shooting at the private range. So it adds up to where I'd save more money doing it locally. So I just do the gun
Yeah,
club.
you
But
might as well. I mean, if it's a hobby, if you dig it, you might as well do it. You know what I mean?
right, and it, like I went shooting while my wife was gone, and I took her. I did better with her 380. I think it's because it doesn't have as much recoil, and maybe my 9mm sights might be off. I don't know, but all of my 380s were throat and face, so I did really good with that one. But the 9mm, I was aiming for throat and face, and I got the chest and all that. So it was.
Well,
I
you
got to
still
give.
at least to hit the target though, so that's
Yeah, in a self defense situation, either gun I have, you're not gonna fuck with me much because
right. I
I know
I
I'm
have
gonna
never
hit you.
owned a gun. I have never owned a gun in my life. I kind of wanted to get one for protection around here, but never had one. Never had a rifle. I had a BB gun, a pellet gun, and I love that pellet gun, man. I would go shooting trees and targets in my basement and everything, and I love that pellet gun. It's still at my parents' house too, so someday I'll get it back. But that's the extent. Who's that?
Well, well, I know your dad did. Your dad was, did motorcycles and shit. But was he a gun guy when you were a kid?
After Vietnam, he said he didn't. He used to be an avid hunter, like deer hunter, and he was a really good shot. He's got like marksman badges and really good shot. But he said after Vietnam, he didn't shoot any more guns.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, he won't talk about it. He just said he quit hunting after Vietnam. That's
So
pretty
that's
much what.
probably. So that would be why you probably weren't surrounded by. I grew up in Georgia. Everybody was a hunter. So
Right.
that that's why.
Well, I don't know though because I can't 100% say that's true because when I was growing up, my dad did have a snub nose 38, and he was a security guard for a long time.
Okay.
And I remember seeing the snub nose when I was a kid, and he showed it to me, and he's like, "Don't ever touch this. Don't mess with it." It was never loaded or anything, but he never got one after that. So I don't think the Vietnam story was 100% it, but he just yeah, he I didn't know a lot of hunters. I never went hunting. To be honest with you, I don't think I could kill an animal. Like any animal, I don't. I just I'm a big pussy like that, I guess. But I don't think I could ever kill an animal.
It.
Person maybe, but not an animal, I guess.
Yes, Mike. I aim for the throat. If you're gonna fuck with me, you're gonna get shot in the throat. I don't fucking care.
That's
So
right, Mike.
yes.
That's what he does, man. Grandpa's a killer, dude.
So when it comes to the first time I went hunting, I was hesitant. You're sitting in the tree stand. It's 5:30 a.m. The deer's out there minding his own business, just drinking the dew off the grass. And I was like, dude, man, I don't know. So I hesitated and hesitated, and then I thought to myself, I'm gonna eat it. It's got the lifespan of probably like 10 years. I tried to put in my head why it was okay.
Right,
And I was like, I sat there, and I said, you know what? Either I'm gonna, either I'm gonna turn myself into a serial killer by overthinking it, or I'm never gonna do it. So I said, fuck it. I pulled the trigger,
right.
and he said, plump, and I felt indifferent. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm a psychopath. I don't know. It didn't really.
And I can understand it's justified. Like you said, they got a short lifespan. You're
Right.
eating it. They're going to be overpopulated if it doesn't get taken care of and stuff. So
Like I thought about what would I do? How would I feel if someone broke into my home and I defended my house. And I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? I'd feel bad if I shot somebody, but at the same time, why you going in somebody's house late at night? So it's one of those 50-50s where, yeah, I know for a fact I would feel bad for taking a human life, but at the same time, don't fuck around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I don't. I'm kind of weird like that because I think I could pull the trigger on somebody, if they broke in the house or if it was a weird situation like that. Like I could be indifferent about, well, I can't say that because I've never done it. You know what I
Right,
mean? I'm sure a lot of vets out there would jump in to correct me and be like, you don't know what it feels like. You've never been in that situation. But just thinking it through, I just think I could have an easier time taking out a person, I guess.
right.
That
As
might
so,
make me a psychopath, but I don't know.
as someone who is an avid supporter of guns, I also don't rag on people who are anti-gun because it's not for everybody. You
Right.
know, it's not for everybody. My problem with if you don't want to mess with guns or have guns, that's cool. I'm not going to rag on you, but don't try to take my right away. That's where I start to get upset.
Yeah,
You know,
just let it be, man. I
right?
prefer that there's people out there with guns. You know what I mean?
Like
Like
I'm one of those kind of people who, I have two grandkids in public school, and I'd be one of those that would be okay with teachers being armed. Um,
I would be too. There's too many. It seems like they glorify school shooters these days, and I don't
right.
like it.
My
Not
my
glorify. That's not the word I'm looking for, but it seems like
if
it
you
may.
notice if you notice most of the gun violence that we have outside of your typical families and gang banging, because that has no rhyme or reason. A husband gets mad. A wife just got in trouble just the other day. I thought I saw my wife brought it up to me, so it was funny. But some woman shot and killed her husband, and uh, when the police asked, "Why'd you shoot your husband?" She said, "Because he's annoying." So at least that guy's free
That's
now.
where we are. That's where we are, man.
Right. So, if outside of that kind of gun violence, most of your mass shootings are people who are deranged and they go to areas that they know are safe zones. They know there's
Right.
going to be like nobody there with a weapon, like the bowling alley in Rockford that guy went shooting at. Obviously, Illinois has got strict gun laws, so he knew no one was going to be armed.
Right.
That's why I don't think
That's
we.
the scary
That's
part.
why. That's why I don't think we have. We had that one shooting many years ago at the mosque, but that guy took a chance, went to a mosque because he figured no one would be armed. But in Wisconsin, we don't have a lot of mass shootings anywhere, and I think it's because we have a high volume of carry
Yeah, there's a
conceal
lot of
permits.
people with guns in our state, man.
Right, and no one, unless you're truly, truly fucking mentally ill, you're probably gonna not want to die. So
Right,
but
right, right. We did have that one. We had that shooting in Madison a
yeah,
couple years back, where it was the transgender person or something. It got swept under the rug pretty fast. So
I remember that one. I remember
yeah.
that one.
Well, I suppose we could discuss these damn
Yeah.
James Bond films. We got a bunch to go through, man.
So here's what we're gonna do. Or I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna explain to the audience, not you,
Yeah,
because we
that's
already
fine.
we already. We're gonna go through the list of James Bond films, starting with the last one they did, which was No Time to Die in 2021. We're gonna go through each film. We're not gonna talk too much about it. We're just gonna bring it up and see if it made our list. If it made our list, if the movie we bring up made our list, we'll say, "Yep, that's on my list." But we're gonna wait until we've gone through all of them, and then we're going to tell you what our top 10 are, and then we can discuss our top 10 because there's so many movies and we chose top 10. We don't want to discuss, if my number 8 is his number 4, when I get to my number 8 and we discuss it, and then later on he says, and that's, my number 4, we're not going to be able to discuss it again. So this way we can, is it on your list? Yes or no? And then we can show our list, tell our list, and then we could discuss our list afterwards. So that's how it's going to go. So we're going to go with the
Nope.
first one. And let's see, I've got another comment first. There's only one James Bond film that matters. Yeah, I know which one it is. It made my list, but you just be quiet. All right, so, because he knows I'm not doing this with him. He knows. He knows. So the first one was from 2021, and it was No Time to Die. Did that one make your list?
Did not.
All right, there we go. Quick and easy. The next one was Spectre from 2015. Did that one make your list?
Did not make the list, but I did consider it because I like Christoph Waltz, but Christoph Waltz is not Blowfield. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
I like Spectre, but not enough to put it on the list. I like the opening chase scene with the Della Morte or whatever with the dead stuff and all that. Cool movie. Christoph Waltz is good, but not on my list.
Robinson said the next Bond is going to be Elliot Page. Don't get me started. Don't get me
Yeah,
started.
Jesus, right.
I
Yeah,
like Spectre was good, but I liked it because it had the old school feel, like with Round Job or whatever his name was. I think it was Round
yeah,
Job.
odd job.
Odd Job. With Dave Bautista played the little hitman
Yeah,
inspector,
yeah.
and
And
and,
it
and he
did
did a
have an
good
old
job.
school feel to it, and
Right,
I did like it, but not enough.
right. All right. Then 2012 Skyfall. Did that one make your list?
100%.
It did.
Oh yes,
Okay.
hundred
So
percent on.
so so there's we know he has a Daniel Craig on there. I do
Yeah,
not have that one. I do not have that one. And then before that was Quantum of Solace. Did you have that one on your list?
nope, not on my list. Even though
Okay,
I
that
do like the scene where he made the guy drink motor oil.
yeah.
I thought that was pretty good, but it did not make the list.
Quantum of Solace, to be honest, is my least favorite of every Bond film, only because
Yeah, I would have
it
to
was a direct
agree.
it was a direct sequel instead of a new story, and I don't know, it just felt weird. I don't know,
Yeah,
it just
to
felt
me
weird.
it felt dry, and I didn't. It made me feel uncomfortable. Like, one of those movies where you watch it and you feel hot. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like you feel hot. Like Nightmare on Elm Street 2 did that to me. Like I felt sweaty and greasy when I watched it, and I don't like feeling like that.
okay. And then the next one was Daniel Craig's first appearance, 2006 Casino Royale. Did that make your list?
Yes, it did.
Okay, that one did make my list too.
Yeah.
So we'll find out where shortly. All
Matt
right.
Milkinson, you gotta love him. Or Matt Milkins, however you say his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he
So,
carried that movie. Unbelievable.
so the next one is 2002's Die Another Day. Did that one make your list?
Did not.
Okay, me either. Me either. Then 1999's The World Is Not Enough. Make your
I
list?
thought about it, but it was not good enough. It didn't make it.
Nope, didn't make it on mine either. And then 1997, Tomorrow Never Dies. Did that one make your list?
Thought about it, but that's the corny one, right? That's the one with like the underwater car and everything, right?
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah, that's the one that had uh Michelle Yao in it.
Okay, yeah. I don't mind it, but it did not make the list.
Okay. Then the next one would be Pierce Brosnan's first appearance, 95's Goldeneye.
Of course, Golden Eyes on there, man.
Yep, made my list too.
Yep.
All right. Then before that was the 1989 Timothy Dalton appearance in License to Kill.
Nope.
Okay, that one did make my list.
Okay.
And then before that was the premiere, the debut of Timothy Dalton in 1987 for The Living Daylights. Did that make your list?
Now I saw that at the movie theater. I'm not. It wasn't bad or anything, but no, it did not make the list
Okay.
because I was too bitter about Roger Moore. I just
Okay.
couldn't accept him.
Right. We'll get into all that stuff here in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Then before that was the 1985 A View to a Kill with Roger Moore.
Of
Did you?
course, it's on there.
All right. That one did not make my list, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Great theme song from Duran Duran, but it didn't make
Yeah,
my list. All right. Then before that was the 1983 Octopussy. Did that one make your list?
it's on the list. Yes. Low, but on the
Oh,
list.
okay. Not for me. Not for me.
I understand.
Then the 1981 For Your Eyes Only. Did that one make your list?
It did. It did. I'm a
Okay.
Roger Moore guy, dude.
Yeah,
So,
I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to see that. All
right
right.
now, now we'll put it this way. It was a toss up where I didn't know if I wanted to put Octopussy on there, but I have good memories with it. So we'll discuss that as we go. So,
And you have every single John Glenn movie on your list. Well, with the exception of the two Timothy Daltons. John Glenn did all those. All right.
okay.
So 1979's Moonraker. Did that make your list?
You know that's on my list, man. I know you're
Yeah.
going to call me
It,
a fag or
no,
something.
no, it's on my list too.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah, we'll get into that too. We'll get into that
We'll
too.
get into that. We'll get into that.
1977's The Spy Who Loved Me.
Did not make the list.
Okay. Then we have 1974's Man with the Golden Gun. Did that make your list?
Yes.
Me too. Me too.
Yep. Christopher Lee with three nipples. Can't beat it.
Nope. And then 1973's first appearance of Moore, Live and Let Die. Did that make your list?
Oh, yeah, dude. Live and Let Die. I love that one.
Yep, made my
Porniest
list too.
kill. Porniest kill in cinema right there. But,
Yep,
wow,
made my
that's a.
list. Then the year I was born, 1971, Diamonds Are Forever. Did that one make your list?
Did not make the list.
Mine either. Mine either. Wasn't. We can get it. Well, it wasn't for me. They did that whole. They went that direction of like the Howard Hughes kind of guy. I was just. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. I mean, it's not a bad movie or anything, but
Right.
just didn't dig it.
Now, 1969, the one and only George Lazenby Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service. Did it make your list?
Hell no.
It made my list, so I guess we'll get into it in a little bit.
Okay, all right.
And then now on to the last five that are Connery. You Only Live Twice from 1967. Did that make your list?
Nope.
Made my list. Made my list. And then 1965's Thunderball. Did that make your list?
Oh, God, it was so close. And I'll put it this way. I am really tempted to kick Octopussy off and throw Thunderball on there. But I
Too
have a
bad.
specific reason why Thunderball isn't on there. So we'll
Okay.
discuss that in a minute.
1964's Goldfinger.
Of course. Of
Yes. Yes.
course.
And then 1963 From Russia with Love. That make your list?
It did not. I don't mind the movie, but it's not on my list.
It didn't make mine either. And then last, definitely not least, the debut of James Bond, 1962's Doctor No.
Yep, it's on the list.
All right, it's on my list too. Now that we've covered all those films, you got to be specific there, Mike. You can't just say WTF, Murr. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what you be talking about,
Yeah,
man?
what did he do that irked you? Oh, I know what it is. You don't have you don't have you only live twice on there. That I think that
That
might be his I think that might be his beef.
Now, I need your opinion on this before we go further. There is a glaring omission, and it's a tricky one. The tricky one. Where does Never Say Never Again fit in?
It doesn't because it was a different it wasn't all the films, there were two films that were non-Eon films.
Right?
The Peter Sellers Casino Royale from
Yeah, that
1967.
that was that was a joke. That didn't count.
Right. It was a
But
good movie. It was he's mad you didn't put You Only Live Twice. We'll probably get to that in a minute, but I'm not listening to him. He'll get started, He'll
That's
cry. He'll
okay. That's
but yeah, Casino Royale.
Donald Pleasance was in that one, but
I own Casino Royale because it has nothing to do with James Bond, but it's still a James Bond film, and it was funny, and I don't know, I liked it. The second non-Eon film was the 1983 Never Say Never Again, which was competing with Octopussy.
now
Because
for me, I feel that Never Say Never Again needs to be on there. And I chose that, and it's on my list because it's basically a remake of Thunderball. But I saw that at the drive-in with my parents as a kid, and that's what kind of turned me on to the Sean Connery movies. I was only 8 years old, 8 or 9 when it came out, and I really liked it quite a bit. So Never Say Never Again is on my list, but we'll say that it's Never Say Never slash Thunderball because it's kind of like the same movie. So
yeah, that's what it's saying that it was based on previously adapted as Thunderball. Um,
right,
but there was a problem. I don't remember. There was a legal battle or something. I don't remember. I don't know the entire thing through
yeah,
it.
I know that there was some legal stuff going on, and they didn't want Sean Connery coming back and interfering with the Roger Moore franchise and everything.
Right.
So
So
it's one that stuck out to me as being a good one. So
right. We are
okay,
just. I just wanted us to cover the Eon films, the Albert Broccoli ones.
that's fine. That's fine.
I don't have anything against Never Say Never Again. I didn't hate it, but it's not. It's not canon. We got
That's
to be
right.
nerds. We got to be nerds here. And speaking of nerds, it's a shame that Donald Gibb died, my friend.
Yeah, dude, that's a sad one. But his meme will live on.
Nerds. Yeah,
Older and his nerds meme will live on till the end of time.
you like to. Whenever I do something nerdy, and you post nerd, but you're just as big a nerd as me. See,
That's
see,
right. That's right. That's my go-to. You're not the only one that gets all old.
yeah.
I hit a lot of people up with that meme.
But as
Never
much as,
take the dirty shit.
but see, I see it as one of those things where you are a nerd and you're mean to the nerds online, so you're one of them self-hating nerds.
No, I just like fucking with them, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. So I'll go first. I'll go 10. You go 10. I go 9. You go 9, and then we'll discuss our list and see. So
Okay.
my number 10 was Moonraker.
Okay. My number 10 is Casino Royale.
Okay. My number 9 is License to Kill.
Okay, my number 9 was Man with the Golden Gun.
All right. My
I'm
no,
gonna switch that up. I'm gonna switch that up. My number 9 is Octopussy.
Okay, your number 9 is Octopussy. My number 8 is Doctor No.
Uh, that was close to mine. My number 8 is Goldeneye.
Okay. My number 7 is On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay. My number 7 was Doctor No.
Okay. My number 6 is Casino Royale.
My number 6 is The Man with the Golden Gun because it changed with Octopussy.
All right. My number 5 is The Man with the Golden Gun.
Okay. My number 5 was Never Say Never slash
All right.
Thunderball. So
All
we
right.
agree that that's kind of the holdout. So that's where I'm at with that.
All right. My number 4 is Live and Let Die.
Live and let die. Sorry. My
Boom.
number
Yep.
4 is A View to a Kill.
All right. My number 3 is Goldeneye.
My number 3 is Goldfinger. No, my
Uh,
number 3 is Live and Let Die.
okay. My number 2 is You Only Live Twice.
I think I added one on here. My number 2, well, some got mixed up here because Goldfinger's got to be in there. So I'm going to kick Never Say Never off and put Goldfinger there. And my number 2 is Skyfall.
Okay, so my number 2 is You Only Live Twice, and your number 2 is Skyfall. All right. And then my number 1 favorite Bond film of all time is Goldfinger.
Okay, yeah, Goldfinger's. That would have ranked as my number 3, even maybe number 2, because I fucking love Goldfinger. But you gonna laugh. You know what my number 1 is, man. It's always has been my number 1, no matter how much hate it gets, no matter how cheese we go. Moonraker is number 1, man.
It's a good one,
Moonraker,
but man, I don't think it's a number 1 film, but hey,
it's
you you do you.
okay. We're talking what, 1978, 1979, the height of the absolute sci-fi madness, right? My parents were really into James Bond, and they've been dragging me to James Bond movies since I was like a little kid. But James Bond in space with Jaws, I was giddy. I was going through the roof. It was, it blew my mind, and it's just held such a special place in my heart since then. Now, I rewatched Moonraker when I was prepping for this show, and it does not hold up very well,
Oh no.
but it's still going to be the number 1 in my heart. And
See,
Roger Moore will always be my Bond, man.
I put it at number 10 because of the nostalgia factor, but
Right, right.
it was the first Bond film that I saw uh in a movie theater.
Gotcha.
I had seen the other Bonds on TV, movie of the night, in the summertime or something like that. But that was the first Bond movie I saw in a theater. It was the first time I saw the words James Bond will be back. Moonraker was the first Bond film I saw in a movie theater. So for
You know,
one,
I think it might have been mine too, now that I think about it, because I know I saw Goldfinger on TV before that, and I was too young to really like realize how cool it was. But then Moonraker, I do believe that's the first one I saw. Me and my parents, we were like heavy drive-in people. We would go
okay.
to the drive-in like every single weekend. We were going to the drive-in, and some of the best movies of all time I saw at the drive-in. But it was always a big event. Whenever there was a James Bond movie, it would always be me, my mom, and dad. Later in life, it just became me and my dad going to the movies. But mom would always come with to the James Bond movies, and it was like a big family thing. We'd go and get Chinese food at Cozy Inn, walk across the street, go to a James Bond movie, and it was a nice family thing. So I miss those days.
You do realize before we continue, I don't know if you saw the article, you probably did, that some Chinese restaurant in Colorado somewhere closed. So Cozy Inn is now the oldest Chinese
Right.
restaurant in the United States.
Now, which is fine and dandy, and I hate saying this. I hate it. Cozy Inn is not what it used to be. You know what I mean? It just
Well, I
Cozy
don't
Inn.
know. I didn't live here. I moved here in 2010. Since I've lived here, I love it. So I wasn't here beforehand.
Now, maybe I need to give them another shot, but see, Cozy Inn was the first Chinese food I ever had in my life. So, egg foo young, sweet and sour chicken, chicken fried rice. That's what I cut my teeth on. And Cozy Inn had such a unique fried rice and, just an overall taste. And the last time I got it, they ran it down to our car, and it just wasn't the same. But when I lived with Kelly, I would actually run up those stairs and get her and get us cozy in. So it's probably been about 10 years since I've had it. I'd give it another shot, but I just remember it not being quite as good as it used to be. Maybe
I
they just
liked
had
it.
an update, I guess. I don't know.
All right. So, Moonraker. I
Yes.
love that was my introduction to Jaws. I know he was in the movie before, but I
Yeah,
didn't see the movie before. I
right.
didn't see the
I
movie
had to go
before.
back.
Right. Because I Moonraker was my first, and then this was before we had home video, so I would only catch Bond movies on TV. But once Moonraker came out, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, View to a Kill, Living Daylight, so forth and so on, I saw in the theaters. So once Moonraker entered my life, I always went and saw with a family member or a friend the new Bond films. Going backwards with Spy Who Loved Me and The Man with the Golden Gun and Live and Let Die, I really didn't get it. I wasn't able to watch those until VHS
Yeah,
because
VHS and heavy duty cable. And even
right,
with
because
cable, they weren't playing the old ones a lot.
right, like I didn't see On Her Majesty's Secret Service until VHS because no one like ever aired it on TV. The ones
Right?
growing up in the '70s and all that, Doctor No was always on TV. From
Yep.
Russia with Love was always on TV. Goldfinger was always on TV.
Always on TV. I
Right.
remember that being on TV all the time.
Right, and then that was about it. Maybe Diamonds Are Forever every once in a while. So I didn't get to see a lot of the Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me. I never saw those on TV. I had to wait till VHS. So that's why Moonraker made my list because of the nostalgia factor.
Right, right.
Because
And that's why it's on top of mind for nostalgia.
right,
Because,
it opened
I
the
still
door for me.
I still kind of get excited when I think about when I think about Moonraker. Just, and then, like when I see like when Jaws was in Happy Gilmore and stuff, and I love that guy. I love the whole deal. Taking
And
it.
the and as I got older, and started learning about space and getting into space so much that I'm an ancient alien fanatic and stuff like that, and science fiction nut. Now, whenever I watch the end of Moonraker, I'm disgusted because all this bodily fluid must just be floating around them. The juices that are flowing from her are just gushing out into this because as we know now, going up and watching we got to watch the astronauts on space shuttles when we were in high school, and they squeeze out the bubbles of Tang, and so we know fluids just float. So if these two people are buck naked fucking in a space shuttle out in space,
He's
that
got
shit
the old balls of vinegar stank going in the
right. So it disgusts me when
thing.
I watch the end of Moonraker, and I just think of the pornographicness of James
Yeah,
Bond
it's
pulling
so
out and going
damn
like this.
man.
Bond pulling out and going like this, and that stuff shooting out and just coming back up and floating all over the place. It's just like, yeah. So
Roger Moore's fucking goofy
yeah,
face.
yeah. So the man inside of me and the pervert inside of me thinks that's like, oh my god, that's disgusting.
It's all
But
right.
but I just it the end. I mean, for some of the special effects shots were terrible. But
Oh yeah,
watching them fight and do all that stuff in zero G was kind of cool.
right.
I mean,
And I still, like when he's in that machine, the vortex machine or whatever, the G-force machine, and he gets shot and everything, and it goes like 8,000 miles an hour and shit.
now
Like
I,
it's like I said, looking back on it and rewatching it doesn't hold up nearly as good as it did back then. But it's still got such a special spot for me. I had to do it. I had
now
to
my
put that one.
now my I gotta ask you this because
Yep.
this is the world we live in. Did she have braces?
Yes.
See, they say she didn't.
Now, see, I think she did.
I
And I
do
think
too.
that's why
But
she fell in love with Jaws, is because she had braces. But then I think we looked into this. It's the Mandela effect. Like, I don't think
yes,
she did, but we always remember that she did. Like, that she had braces and glasses and was dorky,
there's some Mandela effect stuff that I concede to. Is just me being, influenced by the masses. But
right?
I'm okay to die on the hill that she had braces. I
I
just
think so too, man. Like,
I
I'm
think
having memories both ways, but my first instinct was that she had braces.
that's what I'm thinking. Because she didn't smile, she didn't open her mouth the entire movie, and then
Like,
at the
until
end,
the end, right?
right?
Like,
And then
then
yeah,
she smiled at him and shit. Like, okay, yeah, because it was weird, man.
yeah.
I like
I
that
could
he
have
turned into a
swore.
good guy.
I could have swore. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a a pedestrian here on the planet Earth. So what do I
That's
know?
that's right.
So um, but other than that, though, I'm not. Hold on one second. I gotta send a message.
Okay,
To wake her up. Okay.
it's time to wake
Um,
up.
yeah, my daughter works third shift. I don't want her being late. So yeah, I is it the weakest of the Bond films? I would have to say yes, even though I'm only a fan of one of the Timothy Dalton ones. I thought his Living Daylights was terrible. I wasn't a fan of that one, but it's
Yeah,
still Moonraker was
yeah,
as much as I love it for nostalgia reasons and still have a place in my heart. Obviously, it made my list. It was a cash grab. They were trying to benefit off the
of
Star
course.
Wars and
Yeah, it was to cash in on the time, the zeitgeist, and everything. But still, that was my favorite time of my life. Like
right.
just the space craze and everything.
I mean,
But
if
yeah,
we were
looking back, it's definitely not. It's not your standard Bond film.
right, and if we were snobby movie critics who went to college for 4 years to tell people what's good and not, we would
Right.
it definitely wouldn't have been on our list. But we're not snobs, so
Right. And then, like I was 4 years old when I first saw it.
right.
So, I mean, looking back on it now, was it corny? Oh, yeah, for sure. The special effects, not that good and everything. But like you said, it was your introduction to James Bond. You always remember you first.
Right.
So, so what else you got there?
Well, we did my number 10. What was your number 10?
My number 10 was Casino Royale, the new one.
I
And
that made my number 6, and I thought it was really good.
I did
I
too.
re- it was Daniel Craig's debut, and I think he did a good job. He reminded me of what a young Sean Connery, even though we've come to find out later that 007 is just a sign, you know,
Right, which I'm fine with that too.
but
Because it
he
makes
did
all the movies tie together a little bit better.
right, but he did come off as if this was a young Sean Connery, it worked. He was brutal. It's the first time we saw, he was brutal. I love that line when he ordered the martini and the guy behind the counter says shaken or stirred. He goes, I don't give a shit. It was
Right,
just,
yeah,
yeah. It was a different feel. It was a different
right.
time, and I liked it. I thought Daniel Craig did a magnificent job as
Yeah,
James
see,
Bond.
I wasn't sold at first that he was going to do all right. Because, I mean, I don't want to sound like a homosexual, but I didn't think he was good looking enough for the role. I didn't think he was smooth enough. I just wasn't buying it. But then I saw it, and he does do very well with the dark and brooding role, stuff.
Right.
And Mads Mikkelsen was a great villain. I really like that guy in almost everything he does.
Was
So,
was Casino Royale the clackers on the balls? Whack.
oh, God, I can still feel it.
It was
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
feeling old. Ah, and dudes crying blood and whacking dudes in the balls with clack-a-lackers. That
yeah.
shit sucks, man.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was way rough.
And then there was a good car in that movie. Yeah,
Yep.
I remember Money Penny was all right.
Yep. Money Penny.
But yeah, that
Money.
was my number 10, Casino Royale. I think it did a good job, and it was a good introduction to Daniel Craig. I like Pierce Brosnan a little bit better as Bond because I feel he's like the embodiment of what Bond is supposed to be. But I didn't like the movies more than the Daniel Craig movies. I just thought the Daniel Craig ones were a lot more action, a lot, more modern and everything. And so, yeah, number 10 is Casino Royale for sure.
Yeah. Bond had great cars. The only Bond car that I wasn't a big fan of was when Roger Moore used the Lotus Esprit that time, and it could turn into a sub. I was like, now get out of here with this shit.
Yeah, plus, that was Octopussy, right?
No, I thought it was. I could have swore it was Live and Let Die that
That,
had
yeah,
the Lotus.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
look.
because I
I'm
know
gonna
there was
look.
a sub in Octopussy too, right?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to look. Wet Nelly. No, Wet Nelly was created for The Spy Who Loved Me. That was the one that was underwater. That was the sub. That I was like, I thought it was fucking ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah,
But that Tomorrow
here's
Never
a
Dies had an underwater car too, didn't it?
um. I'm gonna look here in a second. Let me show everybody at home this stupid piece of shit, and then we'll fucking uh. Oop, wrong one, wrong one, wrong one. I shared the wrong screen. Wet Nelly. There we go. This was the Lotus that turned into a sub, and I wasn't a fan of the Lotus Esprits to begin with. They're not that bad, but I don't know. I thought they were too much of a ripoff of Lamborghini. But here's the sub. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, dude, I remember that.
Yeah, I even as a kid I thought it was dumb. I don't know. Is it? I guess it's just me. I thought it was dumb. But still could just be me. Some people might be it's the coolest car ever.
Nah,
But
yeah, it wasn't that cool, like it was kind of cool as a kid, kind of daydreaming about being able to drive a car underwater, but kind of corny for the most part, man.
yeah, the only underwater car was that one. That was the only one.
Could have swore- I
He
could have
did do
sworn Octopussy had one.
well. He did have he did have the yellow. He did have the yellow car that the yellow car that went above. But I think I don't know. I'm trying to look. My every when it comes to Bond, sometimes all the movies. I don't know about you. Sometimes the movies all bleed
Kind of run
together.
together, yeah. It's the
Yeah,
same way for me.
yeah, because there were just so many of them.
Right,
But
yeah, you kind of forget the plot of some, and they come back to me when I'm rewatching them, but pulling them from memory is kind of hard.
yeah, there was only the Lotus. So, but yeah, that one drove me nuts. But anyway, back to which one were we talking about?
We're at Casino Royale.
Casino Royale. So I thought it was a good movie. I didn't have a single problem with it. And like I said, I think it showed. It wasn't the first time we saw Bond's brutality, but it was very. It was believable.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Bond. It was
Yeah.
a new decade for Bond, a new chapter for Bond.
So, uh, but for my number 9. was License to Kill. And the reason I liked that one was because, I mean, I know what he did. I don't even think that one made your list at all.
No, I didn't.
But I wasn't a big fan of Timothy Dalton. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't. I
Yeah,
thought
I
he
didn't
was.
like. He's my least favorite Bond.
I mean, he's a good actor. I've liked other stuff he's been in, but he was my least favorite Bond. I don't think he did a good job, but I liked it because he went off the reservation in this one. You know, they revoked his license and then they hired someone to come get him. And it had the great Anthony Zerbe in it, and of course Robert Davi. You know, everybody's favorite Make a Wish, the Wishmaster. He was also in Goonies playing
Oh
Jake
yeah, yeah.
Fratelli. Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah. So I as it being my lead. That's why it was a number 9 because it's not my favorite. I don't like Timothy Dalton, but I do like the fact that that long running CIA character Felix Felix gets killed on his wedding. It triggers Bond, and it honkers back. They even bring up the On Her Majesty's Secret Service stuff in it, so it links License to Kill links Bond to the past, and I don't know. It holds a place in my heart, but not for Timothy Dalton, but for the character of Bond.
Yeah, just because it was a good movie. Yeah,
Right.
Timothy Dalton just didn't make my list. I barely remember License to Kill. I think I've only saw it once. Like The Living Daylights is the same way. I saw it at the movie theater once, and at the time, I liked Roger Moore so much. I wasn't willing to give him a chance. I might have to revisit it and see how it goes.
It the two Timothy Dalton films, he's not a bad actor, but he just didn't portray Bond the right way, I don't think. I mean, I could be talking out of my ass, but for my personal tastes, which I can't be talking out of my ass because it's my personal
I
taste.
thought he was,
I
I
just
thought he was a dork, dude. I
he
thought
didn't.
he was too dorky to play Bond. He just wasn't right. He just wasn't right from the beginning, and we could just leave it at that. To me, it just wasn't right.
It was like when they tried to have Ultimate Warrior take Hogan's spot, and they put the belt on him, and then 8 months later they took it off because they realized they made a mistake. I think
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, the dude. It ain't that the Ultimate Warrior's bad, but
he's no
he
Hulk
didn't have
Hogan.
enough. He didn't have enough machismo to carry the whole company.
Right. So I think Timothy Dalton just didn't have the swagger. He just, even Roger Moore, Roger Moore was a better Bond than he was. And hell, in my opinion, George Lazenby did a better job as Bond than Timothy Dalton did.
Yeah, I'll
And
probably have to agree with that.
and most people hate George Lazenby's Bond, but I thought that one
I
was
don't really like him that much, but I think I like him more than Timothy Dalton.
right. So now that we got Moonraker out of the way, we got License to Kill out of the way. Let me mark these off so we don't discuss them again when they show up on the list. Let me put a little asterisk there, and we just did Casino Royale. So why don't you? What was your number 8?
Man with the Golden Gun. No,
All right, let me.
wait, I moved that up. Octopussy is my number 8.
Okay, I don't have to mark it on my list since I didn't
Right.
have it, but we're going to talk about it because it's on your list. It was
We
my
don't
lead.
have,
No, we got to give it a fair shake because you picked it. We don't have to go too far into it. Um, is
no,
Maud
no.
at is Maud Adams is hot, and Louis Jordan is the bad guy is awesome because I love Louis Jordan movies. I even loved him in Swamp Thing, Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
dude, he's
yeah,
awesome and everything. I love that guy,
yeah.
man.
But I
Yeah,
did it.
I
But it was
remember it.
just. Go ahead.
It just, I remember seeing it in the movie theater and loved it as a kid. And, I was a young man, so the word pussy was in it, and all that. And Octopussy was the one that had that little mini plane sequence at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Like where they're flying in the barn and that thing. That was
Yeah.
so cool and such a unbelievably awesome piece of cinema when it was first released. I think the strength of that opening is enough to put Octopussy on the list. Like as a movie as a whole, it wasn't super great, but it wasn't bad. But that beginning opening with the mini plane is iconic, and that's primarily the main reason why it's on my list.
Yeah, for me, Octopussy just it was too slow and bored me. Everybody did a great job doing their roles, like I said, and I like all the actors who in the movie, but just not blaming them. I'm blaming the story. The story
I,
was
I have
wasn't
to agree because I rewatched Octopussy as well, and I remember not liking it nearly as much as I did back then. But I like the little octopus in there, and I like the fucking theme song, the biplane. So it's on my list. So we don't really have to talk about it too much more than that. But
okay. Now we'll go with my number 8 was Doctor No. What was your
Doctor
number
No
8?
is on my list also. I had
Oh,
rated
that's
Doctor
right.
No. I had rated Doctor No at my number 6.
Okay. So Doctor No, obviously the very first one. Um, I love for some reason it sticks in my head. I do believe it was the one that had the opening with the three blind guys walking around, and
Right,
they did that song. Ursula Andress is in this movie. Jack Lord is in this movie. From Hawaii Five O.
right,
Um, it I I didn't see Doctor No, like I said, until uh the VHS days, because like I said, we discussed this already about it not being on you having to catch it on TV. This is one of the ones that I never caught on TV. I know it had been on TV, but I never got the opportunity to catch it on TV. And I thought, and then Jack Lord played that. It was the first time we met Felix. Because Felix was a character, wasn't in every Bond film, but this was our first introduction to him. You
right.
know, Honey Rider, Ursula Andress was the first, was our first
Yeah, it was
Bond girl.
the first introduction to Bond and everything. Now,
Right,
it's those movies and everything. They're great, but he was before our time.
right.
Like so. But you got movies like Goldfinger and everything, which are just so amazing. But Doctor No is good in his own right. I don't remember a whole lot about the movie. I just know that I loved it. I know that it was awesome. I'll probably put it on and watch it again.
Yeah,
Uh,
it took place in Jamaica. Um, that's the one where they tried to kill Bond with the tarantula, let the tarantula loose in his room.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. That's Gold. Well, the Goldfinger. What's the one where they tried to laser him in half?
that was Goldfinger.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
It's the one where
So
do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I
I
expect you to
expect you to
die.
die. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's fucking
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but Doctor No had a place on my list. It's at the bottom because for someone, I'm looking at it through the young man in me's eyes. It was slow, but it set the standard for James Bond. Because with the exception, like Roger Moore played Bond differently
Right.
than Sean Connery. But to me, I don't know. This is just how I feel, and you can tell me if you're wrong. Sean Connery played it Sean Connery's way. George Lazenby did it his own way. Roger Moore did it his own way. I think Pierce was trying to be more Roger Moore like, and I think
Yeah, I
Daniel.
think that I agree where it was kind of tongue in cheek and a little bit more lighthearted.
Right,
I think Sean Connery was more heavy handed,
right.
more
Daniel Craig was more like, as Pierce Bronson was trying to be the Roger Moore Bond. Daniel Craig was trying to be the Sean Connery Bond.
So yeah, but even more dark than Sean Connery.
Right. And then George Lazenby and Timothy Dalton were their own beasts.
Right,
We could,
exactly.
yeah.
I don't even
So,
think we should discuss Timothy Dalton anymore. So
well, we don't have to because you didn't put that movie on your list, and we already talked License to Kill, so we're done with
yeah,
him.
good God. So what else you got?
My number 7. This is the one that most people don't like to talk about, but on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think Lazenby did a great job. Okay, I think he did a great job. I am also, I'd probably brought this up before, and I don't know if you've heard. I think I've talked to you about it, but I've said it on my other shows. I am a very, very huge Telly Savalas guy. Love Kojak.
Yep,
I love
yep.
everything he's been in. I know Kelly's Heroes. I love Telly Savalas. He was the bad guy in on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So that right there puts it on my list. But it was he got married. Bond was going to give it up. Bond was going to it was
Yeah,
he
and
was
then his wife dies and everything, and
yeah, and he loses his shit. Yeah. So
now, and see that's why I liked Octopussy because wasn't he gonna like settle down with Octopussy, and she got killed too,
yes,
or something like she died in a helicopter accident or something like.
I do believe that's how it went.
Yeah, because my dad, when we saw Octopussy, he's like, "Oh, that reminds me of this movie where James Bond was going to get married, and then his wife got killed and everything." And I think I've only seen that movie with Lazenby once, and most of it because I saw a documentary on Lazenby and what happened, and he kind of dug his own grave. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
he could have been in the next Bond film, but yeah, he let it all go to his head.
yeah, that's the thing. He let it go to his head, and it was kind of right around when everybody was protesting the Vietnam War. So he became, kind of one of those Hollywood loudmouths. He grew his beard out. He refused to cut his beard off to do promotion for the James Bond film. So
Right,
they basically said, fuck you, and fired him, man. But we got Roger Moore. So I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that.
right. Now, I will say this. I know Mike probably ain't gonna like to hear this, but because I'm such a Telly Savalas guy, he's always been my favorite Blofeld. I know there's been different Blofelds, but Telly Savalas, that's another reason why it made my list, because he's my favorite Blofeld. But
Now,
I put it,
yeah, because he was pretty hardcore. Didn't Donald Pleasance play Bloomfield?
yeah, that would be my number 2. You only live twice.
Right, right. And he was in another one too, where what was the one where they picked him up with the fucking helicopter and dropped him in the chimney?
That was
It
You
was
Only Live Twice, because Donald Pleasance was only in one.
I swore he was in two. He was in an
No,
opening. He was in a wheelchair, and he was remote controlling the helicopter, and he had his cat on his lap. And they finally killed him off because Roger Moore took control of the helicopter, went down, scooped up his fucking wheelchair, and then dropped him. And it was at the beginning of the movie. So
that was for Your
for
Eyes
your eyes
Only
only,
in
gotcha.
1981. Yeah, that was for Your Eyes Only. That was right after Moonraker.
Right, right.
And
I
that
saw
blow
that one at the theater too. So
yeah, that Blofeld was played by somebody else.
yeah, because
I
they
don't
never showed his face. They
know,
always alluded that it was Donald Pleasance, and the
but
guy they had kind of sounded like Donald Pleasance, but
right,
they
but it
never
wasn't
showed his
him.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
they never showed his face. So okay,
And I
all right.
think
I knew what was,
Telly Savalas's Blofeld is the first one where he was bald. I don't
yeah,
think. No, 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 no. I'm wrong because Donald Pleasance did it first before, and Donald Pleasance was the first Blowfield that was bald, I think, but I could be wrong. I don't remember much of Doctor No. I don't know if he was even in, if Blofeld was in Doctor No. I'm about
I
to look,
don't
but I
think
don't.
so. I think he came along later. And I'm surprised Mike J ain't jumping in there. What do you mean, fucking, Donald Pleasance, you fucking.
No, Joseph Wiseman played Doctor No. He was the member of Spectre, so we didn't get Blofeld until the next film, which was or we didn't get him. I think Goldfinger might have been the first Blofeld. I'm looking. Internet's fast, so
I
I can
don't think
look.
I don't think Blowfield was in Goldfinger either. I think the
No,
main bad guy was Goldfinger and Oddjob.
yeah. So yeah, the first Blofeld was, yep, Goldfinger. So yeah, that would have made You Only Live Twice the first Blofeld.
The first sign of Blowfield, man.
Yeah. So it
So,
was Donald Pleasance was the first. So Pleasance was the first Blofeld, and then Telly Savalas played him next and kept with the tradition. Well, Telly Savalas had always been bald, so it wasn't
yeah,
hard
he
for
was
them to
he
do.
was like the main bald guy of our time.
Right.
Lollipop licking motherfucker.
You know why he ate lollipops, right?
Because he didn't want to smoke, right?
Yeah, he was trying to quit smoking. Back in the day, you could smoke in TV and on movies. Now it's like a no-no. They don't want you
Yeah, there's
smoking.
there's like laws against it now.
So he wanted to quit, and he smoked a lot on Kojak in the early years, and then he slowly would switch. Sometimes he'd see with a lollipop, sometimes he would smoke, but as time went on, it was mainly just a cigarette or just a lollipop. But yeah,
Trying to trying to
yeah.
break the trying to break the chain, man.
Yeah, but he got to smoke in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So, but that's
Right.
why I picked it, because it they James was going to get married. It was the first time, he was going to settle down, no more womanizing, and I don't know. I just think it had a good story, and
I'm gonna have to revisit it. It's not coming up on Amazon Prime, sadly enough. So I don't know where I'm going to be able to watch it. But don't you have some James Bond in your YouTube library, right?
I don't know. I might. I don't know. I might.
Yeah, I can't. I thought you did, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know where the hell. Well, when I watched these movies, I had one of those services where you could just pull up anything and check it out or whatever.
So that was On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah,
Um.
my next one is Goldeneye.
Okay, that was my number three. Let me mark it off. GoldenEye, the debut. Not only was it the debut of Pierce Bronson, but it was also one kick-ass game on the Nintendo 64.
And I think that's why it's on my list. Because Pierce Brosnan came through. He was a breath of fresh air. You accepted him as Bond right away. Uh, and, honestly, there's a couple of scenes that I remember about GoldenEye. Like, when he's breaking into the Russian base and everything and all that. But the game was where it's at. Like many
And
hours spent on the Nintendo playing Goldeneye.
and don't forget, it had Sean Bean. He was in it.
Yep, like
The,
way back.
our good friend Joe Don Baker was in that one.
Okay.
The hottie herself, Famke Janssen, was in it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was the debut of Judi Dench as M. Judi Dench was a fucking awesome M. I don't care what anybody says.
Wow, dude. So she was M for a long time, dude.
She was M from fucking 1995 until 2021.
Yeah, yeah, because she was in Skyfall and shit.
Yeah, didn't
If,
they killed her off in No Time to Die, didn't they?
yeah, it was either No Time to Die or Skyfall. She died at the end.
It
I
was
think
it had
she
to have been
died.
it was Skyfall because she's not in Well, I don't know. Hold on. I'm perusing. I don't know if she died in Skyfall.
I'm pretty sure she died in the church at the end.
Well, she was in. She was in. Spectre though, as Mallory's predecessor M. This marks her eighth and final appearance. So no, she was in 2015 Spectre.
Yeah, so maybe Blofeld killed her. I can't rightly remember.
So she played M for 20 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. So yeah, we're talking. We got Pierce, we got M, we got Sean Bean. You know, you can't go wrong with Goldeneye, dude.
No, it was like I said, it was our first introduction to a new Bond, and like I said, he gave a performance that was very Roger Moore. I don't want to say he was, more of like was keeping the tradition of what Roger Moore had created. He still made it his own, but
Yeah, but it was like, yeah, more tongue in cheek, more action, more suave, cool. You know, good looking dude getting the chicks.
and it
You
was
know,
a
so,
relief, and it was a relief that it wasn't Timothy Dalton.
yeah, exactly. That's because, man, I still remember the disappointment to this day. How sad I was when they said that Roger Moore was not going to do it anymore. Because when I was a kid, I always used to daydream that I'd be walking around the mall, you know, like in Kohl's or something at the mall, and I would just run into Roger Moore. You know, I would just like bump into Roger Moore, James Bond. He was like the main dude I wanted to meet when I was a kid.
And and
And
and,
then,
and that and that's what I loved about Cannonball Run, because he was playing James Bond in that movie, but he
right,
wasn't James Bond. He was just some wackadoo who thought he was James Bond.
you thought he was James Bond, but still you knew it was James Bond, man.
Right. So it was hilarious, and he did a
And
great
man,
job.
that's half the reason why I made that comment the other day that I think Siskel and Ebert had a little bit of the retard in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm sitting there watching him say Cannonball Run sucked. Like, the story sucked. The movie had no effort. There was no laughs. Blah, 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 blah. Then they turned around and said Silence of the Lambs was bad. They said Last Crusade was bad. I'm like, man, you guys are fucking idiots, dude. Like, you're idiots.
Now,
Looking back 40 years, you know?
now here's my question to you. Looking back on it now and seeing all the interviews with Roger Moore and whatnot, the Roger Moore's James Bond had less sexuality in it.
Right?
When he got on board, he wanted to focus more on other stuff than Bond's girlfriends. Looking back on it now, you can see, like, I didn't know Roger Moore was gay until he came out as gay. But once he came out as gay, and you go back and watch his portrayal of Bond, you can see the
I don't know, you're
awkwardness.
breaking my heart. I didn't know he was gay until just now, man.
You didn't know Roger Moore was gay?
No, dude, I thought he just played a gay guy in that movie. I didn't know he was gay, dude.
No, he's 100% gay. That's why when he started the Bond role, he wanted to focus less on Bond and his womanizing. That's why it was always just the Bond girl and
I
him.
think
There
we
was
gotta move on. My world's kind of getting shook up here, man.
yeah, he was gay,
Wow.
dude.
I kind of had an idea when he played the gay guy on the boat trip or whatever it was, but I thought he was just playful in doing it. I didn't realize he was 100% homo.
But see, that's the cool thing about British people.
I guess so.
You can't tell they're gay like Americans. You know what I mean?
He's still my James Bond though.
Oh, I have no problem with him being gay. I just when you look back, when you see his interviews and look at some of these anniversary things with Bond, and he
He
specifically,
kept it hidden pretty well. He kept it hidden pretty well, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, and
Like I can
he
understand he wasn't. he wasn't as misogynistic
Right.
as Sean Connery or something, but he's
I
still
just,
got a lot of trim though.
right, he did, but it was always just the Bond girl. Because Bond would sleep with other women in the films than just the Bond girl.
Yeah, he
Roger
was always
Moore,
getting girls, man.
right? Roger
He was
Moore only
always
slept with
getting
the.
girls.
Oh, I do believe, I could be wrong, but I do believe Roger Moore's Bond only slept with the Bond girl, and it wasn't until the end, I think.
Yeah, I think now looking back, I think you're right.
I mean,
Well,
look at Moonraker. They start taking
right,
off their clothes, they do the kiss, and then the movie's over. And then he did the other movie. I can't remember which one it was, where they were in the boat and he closed the top so they couldn't see him anymore. But we
right.
never got to see them really do much because he felt uncomfortable because he was gay.
Yeah, he didn't want to do the scene. But now,
Right.
In A View to a Kill, didn't he sleep with Grace Jones and the Bond girl?
The Grace Jones one, I do believe, was implied that they did that whole fighting scene and then they were in their hotel room. They did a few things and then they showed her leaving the room or something. I don't think we actually saw it like we did with the Bond girl.
Right, right. So, but it was just, yeah, because I thought that was disturbing when I was a child. You know what I mean?
What, Grace
Grace
Jones?
Jones, yeah, Grace Jones scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Cause she was
I could,
fucking brute. She was brutal, dude. She was fucking tall. She was like taller than
brutal,
Bond.
and
She
it
was
had that flat top and shit.
yeah. She looked like she was she was to me. She was the Black Bridget.
Nielsen,
Uh
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. She could have been Red Sonja if they had, if you know, if they didn't care. If Red Sonja had been a black character, they would have. Grace Jones would have taken the role.
yeah. She did. She was scary back in the '80s, man.
And don't forget, Grace Jones had a small music career.
Yeah, she had a couple albums. In fact,
Yeah.
that's pretty much. I knew who Grace Jones was because of her MTV videos before I saw her in James Bond.
Okay.
Yeah, so I knew her music career before her acting career.
Okay.
But still, she's a damn scary bitch.
Yeah, but I heard she may have looked scary, but from everything I've ever heard, everybody said nothing but good things about her. She had some weird quirks about her, but they said she was a sweet woman, and I think is
Yeah,
she
that's
alive
what I heard
still?
too. Like I heard it was an act. You
She's
know,
still
usually
alive.
I don't know.
I'm looking
Alexa,
her
is
up.
Grace Jones still alive?
Yeah, 77 years old.
He is 77 years old. Yeah, 77 big ones, man.
Didn't she date? She dated didn't she date Bowie for a while?
Ah, possibly, because that when you said that was my first instinct when you said, "Did she date?" Which Bowie was the first person I thought of. Bowie had a
Well,
thing for black girls.
she did date Dolph Lundgren for 4 years because
Okay,
Dolph Lundgren was her bodyguard.
okay, all right.
She got him a part. She got him the part as the KGB officer in View to a Kill.
Okay, all right. I forgot he was in that. I didn't even realize.
And then in 1990, she dated Danish actor and stuntman Sven Ole Thorsen.
That sounds really familiar. I know
Yeah,
I've probably seen that dude in some stuff.
he was in Conan. I'm gonna show. I'll show you a picture of him. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
I'll see him for the
Um,
most part.
let me find him because you'll be like, oh, I remember that guy. I gotta find a picture that I know you'll recognize him in. Not that one. Trying to find him because he was in every 80s movie I think like ever made. He was
Was he
in
in Die Hard?
I do believe so. He was also in he was in almost every a film that was done by. He was in Red Heat. He was in a lot of Schwarzenegger films.
Yeah, I think I know exactly who you're talking about. Right,
They were friends. Schwarzenegger was his friend. Yeah, here's a
right.
picture of him. I'll share it with you. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sven Ole Thorson. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah, there we go. Here he is. I'm sure you'll recognize him as soon as I bring him up. There he is.
Yeah, okay. I know who he is.
Yeah, he was in like every single fucking 80s action movie there was because he was a stuntman.
Right, right. And then they
So,
just started showing his face and everything. So,
right. So, what was your next one on the list that we had that was cuz
man with the golden gun was next.
okay, that was my number 5. Man with the Golden Gun, man. I love Christopher or
Yeah, Christopher Lee, man.
yeah, Christopher Lee. It had Tattoo. Tattoo was
Yep.
in it, which when you watch the movie about his life, he was difficult. He gave them a
Yeah,
hard
he
time.
was. I heard he was a little bastard, dude.
Yeah, he gave them a hard time. But the Man with the Golden Gun, man. That was
Now,
my number 5.
hey,
It was
Did we lose our screen?
hold on. Yeah, I there we go. There we
There we
go.
go. All
There we
right,
go.
all right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Tattoo.
yeah,
Yeah, he was gave him a hard time, but he was in it. Britt Eklund was in it. It was it had a great cast. It had a great cast.
yeah.
Um,
Anything with Christopher Lee in it, and he had
Ma-
3 nipples for Christ's sake.
and Octopussy was in it. Maud Adams was Andrea Anders, so she was Scarmanga's girlfriend, so she was in 2 Bond films.
Okay, I didn't realize that either, man. I never made the connection.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, yeah,
I liked it because I'm a huge fan of Christopher Lee. I was a I
yeah.
love
I mean, anything Christopher Lee does, I'll watch and enjoy, man.
because in the 80s in the 80s I was a big fan of I was introduced in the 80s to horror Hammer horror films and I loved them, and Christopher Lee was in a lot of them, so that's where my love for him came. And Man with a Golden Gun was one of those that I got to see on TV. So obviously when you see it on TV it's edited, but I did see it on VHS later. But Man with a Golden Gun was one of the ones that I was lucky enough to see on television as a kid.
Right.
Probably,
That's where I
probably.
caught it. I think I caught it. I caught Man with the Golden Gun years later, I think.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
it came out in '74. I don't think I saw it until the mid to late '80s. Is the first time I saw it.
I don't think I saw Man with the Golden Gun until around 2001.
So it took you a while.
Yeah, and I think I watched it primarily because of Christopher Lee, because he was Sauron. And, I really was into Christopher Lee at the time. And so, yeah, but I remember loving it. So definitely on my list. Excuse me.
Um, my number 4, which I don't think, it made your list, was Live and Let Die.
Yeah, dude, Live and Let Die. Because for one, it had one of the corniest death scenes in history, in the history of cinema, with the dude, getting filled up with the air and going up and blowing up and shit. And I love the villain, the main guy, the
Yaphet
dude from
Kotto.
Alien.
Yeah,
I
Yaphet
love the
Kotto.
whole, yeah, Yaphet Kotto, yeah. And I love the whole New Orleans theme with the voodoo and everything. And it just, To Live and Let Die to me is kind of like, I don't want to say gimmicky, but kind of like plays into that whole, like, Moonraker was the space one and Live and Let Die was the voodoo one. And then,
Well, it was Roger Moore's first portrayal as Bond.
Right.
and it had a very, 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 and I'm not gonna say, I'm gonna say it because I'm a dog. Jane Seymour, when she was young, was hotter than a
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah, dude. Jade Seymour's a fox, man. He's
And
really good, man.
you had Wings did the opening song.
Yeah, dude, and that's a big reason why uh I love it so much because the Wings song was friggin' great. That's what hooked me. I had seen the movie and everything and loved it, but I saw Guns N' Roses on the opening day of their Use Your Illusion tour,
Mm.
and they played Live and Let Die live for like I think the first time they ever did it live in front of a crowd that big, and it blew me away. And I immediately, because I loved the original song way before that, but I remember getting the movie on VHS right after that, watching it, loving it. So I didn't see Live and Let Die until about one or 92, but I love it. I think it's great, man.
But it was
And
it was the first. You were right. It was the first Bond. They didn't have a. It was the first time they didn't have a megalomaniac as the villain. He was just a typical drug dealer.
yeah, yeah, just,
It was basically a black exploitation film too, if you think about it.
well,
It was
that's what I was gonna say. I didn't know if we should go down that route
well.
of
I'm not gonna like go down it like in a negative way. I'm just historically it was a black
yeah,
exploitation
it
film.
was definitely a black exploitation, and it was the only one in the Bond series that was like that. That
Right.
was more black exploitation. A product of its time.
It was
But
the first black Bond girl, Rosie Carver.
right,
Um, it
first black
had
Bond villain.
yeah, first black Bond villain. I'm still waiting. I know people give me shit all the time. I'm still waiting for fucking look. Mike's like 10 days behind us. He didn't know. He didn't know. Fucking dude was gay either. So he must be watching it in the past.
Right, he must be on level where it's a little bit behind, but
Yeah, but no,
yeah,
I thought I still wish Idris Elba would either be a Bond because
right,
he could pull off being a Bond, and I don't care that he's black. I don't care if Bond's black. He would do a great job. Or they need to bring Idris Elba in as the villain because he can play
right.
a good
Either way, he
villain.
needs to be in the series.
Right,
He needs to be in the series somewhere.
right. But yes, Live and Let Die was basically a black exploitation film, a product of its time. It was 1973. Black exploitation films were really big, and you see a trend here. They made a black exploitation film during the time of a lot of black exploitation films, and then all these
Right,
science fiction movies came out in the late 70s, and then you have Moonraker.
right. They
So
did the
out
Moonraker,
right,
and
so
then there were fine ones, and
Yeah, so Albert Broccoli was just following a trend of what Hollywood was doing. You know,
yeah, just pumping them out at
blacks.
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whether you agree with black exploitation films or not, they're a part of film history, and we got a lot of
oh,
great.
I love black exploitation film.
Right,
Oh, dude.
we got a lot of great actors and actresses and directors that came out of black exploitation. The Mario Van Peebles and his dad.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Well, we don't want to talk about Sweetback's revenge, man.
but
We don't
still,
want to talk about Sweetback.
it's a classic, and it made a name for himself.
This is true,
There was
but
another.
Sweetback, that's something. Sweetback is something else. There's a lot of weird shit in that movie, dude.
There was also another black exploitation film back in the day called The Watermelon Man.
I've never seen that one.
You've never seen Watermelon Man?
I've never seen Watermelon Man. Have
Hold
you?
on.
Have you seen Chainsaw Charlie or whatever it's called? Or
Watermelon Man was a comedy from Melvin Van Peebles.
right?
It had Estelle Parsons. Let's see, it had Estelle Parsons in it. Uh, a Godfrey Cambridge, who was a comedian at the time. It was I thought it was a good movie, but once again, it was it was his blaxploitation. There was another one, The Man with Two Heads, where Rosie Greer
Oh,
was
I've
attached.
seen a man with two heads.
That's the one where Rosie Greer is attached to the old racist white guy.
Bill, racist white guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes, man, I watch The Man with Two Heads, and I wonder how they filmed some of that shit. Some of it I realized that it was just the mannequin head, and I realized he was just like holding on to dude's back the whole time, and they had oversized clothes. But it's kind of a good looking movie for what it is, man. You know what I mean?
My whole thing with the term blaxploitation, I get why they used it, and I get, yes, Hollywood was exploiting black people to make money and get the audience, but at the same time, they were at least giving them their shot, because there are a lot of black actors, actresses, producers, there are tons of people in the film and movie industry that are blacks that are so fucking talented. And and if you look back at the 70s at some of those black exploitation films, the people in those movies were top notch. I mean,
Oh yeah,
what's her name?
Pam Grier.
Yes, Pam Grier. She is a great actress, pretty as fucking hell. Like, dude, if for a while that's all she did, and then after the black exploitation films died down, she and some of the other ones that were really good started showing up in mainstream Hollywood films.
Yeah, mainstream stuff. Yeah,
Right?
like
I'm not.
I used to watch Tubi. Used to have a whole section on blaxploitation, and I have two box sets of 1970s blaxploitation films. So yeah, I like them all. Like the Black Bikers. I think it's called Black Aces,
Right.
and
They even I some of the ninja films were so I just look, I can't sit here and be one of those guys. Black people have never really gotten a fair shake in Hollywood per se. Now they do.
but back then, yeah, back
Back
then it
then
was a
they
different
didn't.
animal.
But I still think there's a part of Hollywood that doesn't want to let them shine like they can. Because yeah, Jordan Peele did some great stuff, but
Right,
if you compare Black Hollywood today, they make more movies, but
right.
they
I
could.
just don't think the money is there. I mean, it's I'm not trying to sound racist or anything, but just a lot of those movies don't. They don't do well at the box office. They just don't sell tickets. So I don't think that there's a huge market yet for it. I mean, still, I mean, there's gonna be. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying here, but but back to the James Bond stuff. Yeah, Live and Let Die, 100% black exploitation film,
Yep,
but
yep.
it's awesome. I bought this for you. You hear
What
that?
what
Never
was it?
mind.
Okay. Well,
I blew you.
I've got three more. Only got two more on my list that we haven't covered. So I don't know if there's any that we haven't covered on yours.
I got
Um.
View to a Kill on. I got View to a Kill, but
Okay.
we've just got to discuss that because View to a Kill, it's got the superpowered Duran Duran soundtrack. I fucking love that song, dude. It's got Christopher Walken at being Christopher Walken at his crazy best.
Yes.
Just a total fucking nut job.
Right.
Sending people flying out blimps and shit. and it's got Grace Jones,
Grace
and it's got
Jones.
was her name Erin?
Well, you had Patrick McNee, who was from he did all those what was those movies? The Spy. I can't remember it, but Patrick McNee was in it. But the Bond girl was Tanya Roberts.
What was she in? Was she in Beastmaster?
Tanya Roberts was a Charlie's Angel and in Beastmaster, and
Okay.
later on she was on that '70s show there towards the end.
Yes, yes. Yeah, see that she was another one. I
Yeah, she
always
died.
thought she was really beautiful, man.
Yeah, she died in 21. She died in
Oh,
2021.
that's sad. But I
Yeah,
primarily remember her in View to a Kill and Beastmaster were the main ones for me there.
yeah, but she. I don't hate View to a Kill, just not my top 10.
And for me, that was a big one because I saw A View to a Kill with my parents at the movie theater, and I remember it distinctly because that must have came out in '87, right?
View to a Kill, 85.
Huh, I was only 11 years old. Well, A View to a Kill was like when I was old enough to really like get what I was seeing. You know what
Right.
I mean?
I love the.
Like I was really into A View to a Kill quite a bit. And I think that wasn't his last one, was it?
Uh, Roger Moore's. Yes, View to a Kill was his
Yeah.
last.
Yeah, because I remember that's another thing that really made me sad was that it was his last movie, and it was cool, and Grace Jones and
The
fighting on
big
the Eiffel Tower and all that shit. And
and the Golden Gate Bridge.
yes, yep, and that big ass mansion with the horses and shit.
Yep. Yep.
And I just noticed you got Juradowski's Dune on here, man.
Oh yeah, that documentary. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I have, but I'm going to watch it again. You also got Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which I just turned on right now.
Oh,
Playing that
okay.
in the background.
Well,
Even though, of course, I got that on DVD, but
right. So I've got two left.
I think I
Um,
got I got two left as well.
this one I don't think made your list. You Only Live Twice.
Right? That one I don't remember hardly at all.
That's the one that was Donald Pleasance.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I do then. Yeah,
It had Donald Pleasance was Ernst Blofeld.
right?
Charles Gray was in it. It was the one. It took place. It took place. It had the underground base in Japan.
Oh,
So there's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
so there was a lot of Japanese.
Yep, Japanese style to it, yeah.
Yeah. Akiko Wakabashi was in the movie.
You're
But
a fucking Kisho Wakabashi, dude.
Tetsuro Tamba, but they had to dub his voice. Mihama, she was in it, but she was another one who had to have her voice
Now, see,
dubbed over.
that's another fine example of what we were just talking about. You have the black exploitation film. You have that one, which was the Japanese film when Japanese culture was real hot, and like Bruce Lee movies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because I'm thinking,
it was '67 and Godzilla movies. Because if you think about it, science fiction movies and stuff in Japan, they're the ones who started doing this whole underground base. That's why this underground base was, on an island in Japan. And
right,
the
yeah, because that was their whole shtick.
right, and the
Wow,
ground
because
would
that
open
whole
up.
movie was much later than that.
No, it was number two. It was number two. Or no, it was Sean Connery's last film before
Right,
Lazenby. Because Diamonds Are Forever was '71. Connery came back for that one. But at the
right.
time, in '67, it was Sean Connery's last
Yeah, because he
time.
was pissed off, like his contract was fucked up or
Yeah,
something.
it was his fifth. but they went to Japan and filmed it. They filmed it in Tokyo. The whole thing was filmed like in, Tokyo, Kobe Docks. Bond's wedding was at the Shinto Shrine. I mean, it was filmed all over,
I'm gonna have to watch
Japan.
it again, man.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
It
Donald
sucks.
Pleasance did a good job.
When I was researching all these movies, man, it was so easy to get anyone I wanted to see, and now I can't. Now I got to rent them, and could have swore you got some in here on the YouTube, but I'm gonna keep looking. So,
But yeah, I love that one because it took place in Japan. I was, I saw this one on TV also back in the 80s. I was like, if it gave me the vibes of, are we going to see Godzilla pop up somewhere? Because it
because it was so Japanese, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and then my last one to go
Well,
over. Well, what's your
we got what your last one is going to be my number
Goldfinger?
two, but I just wanted to throw in my number two was Skyfall.
Skyfall.
And
That was the one where they held up at his mansion, where him and him and
yeah,
him and
yeah, where
M
they
had
were
to.
hunting down, and yeah, and
Yeah,
they were at his mansion, and they were coming after him at the end. I think Skyfall's biggest strength is Javier Bardem. Uh,
yes,
I thought he was just coming off No Country for Old Men, and then he does Skyfall, and I found him to be a mesmerizing villain. Like, I think Javier Bardem is awesome in pretty much anything he does. You know
yeah,
what I'm
he did.
saying? Like
He
he,
was good.
and I thought the action in Skyfall was great. Daniel Craig does another great job.
And it was
Skyfall is one that I can watch over and over and still enjoy it, and just primarily for Javier Bardem. But
and Bardem knew a lot because she was an ex MI6 agent. So he
right,
was like, and then I did like that they used Albert Finney as the old gatekeeper.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Just
Skyfall was a good one too. That was a good one too.
didn't make your list, but it's a
Didn't make
good
my
one.
list. It's a good one. Nothing, nothing, no particular reason why. It wasn't in my, I think Skyfall is better than Quantum of Solace? Yes. Do I think it's better than Die Another Day? Yes. Is it better than World Is Not Enough? You see what I'm saying? That would probably be my number 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I could see it putting that there. So
Yeah.
well, you got Leatherface on here too. Unreal.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of them on there. And then my last one was my number one, which was Goldfinger.
And that was I'm going to list that as my number. It was listed as my number three, but I might switch it around because I think Goldfinger had much more of an impact on me than Skyfall did. I liked Skyfall and I really dug it, but I'm really like busting out brass tacks. And I guess from what we discussed and the way, rewatching Moonraker on how cheese it was, I'm probably going to have to agree with you that Goldfinger is number one because you got awesome side villains. Goldfinger himself is iconic. The laser to the balls scene, the fucking little miniature Fort Knox that they're working with, the like miniature map table or whatever that, and there's just so much. The girl getting painted gold and
Yeah.
just Goldfinger is such an amazing movie.
And he
And
was
I
such a
remember,
he was such a pompous ass too. It was like,
right, yeah, he was straight up pompous ass, misogynistic, fucking James Bond all the way around. But I remember Roger Moore was always my James Bond, where I came in, what I got started with. But then when I saw Goldfinger, I understood why people liked Sean Connery so much. And then I saw Never Say Never Again, and I fucking love that movie.
Well,
And
the cool thing about Goldfinger to me is it was one of my favorite. Is my all time favorite Bond film. I
right,
saw it on TV in the 70s or in the 80s. Might have seen it in the 70s. I don't remember, but in the 80s for sure. VHS, all
right,
that. But my grandparents lived in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and my family, my wife and I, we lived there with our kids in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and that's outside of Radcliffe, which Radcliffe is where Fort Knox is.
right. Okay,
So
well that's cool. So
they filmed a lot of Goldfinger at the base, and some of the scenes there that they filmed, it's cool to look at because I've been on those roads and on those streets on the base. And
right,
when you and
that's
then when you
cool.
and then at the Patton Museum at Fort Knox, they have all the miniatures there that were used for the film,
Yeah,
where they weren't.
that's one thing I loved about that movie. I was like, wow, dude, the miniatures were so cool. Like how they set up that fucking map and everything, and it's just I love it, man. I want to watch Goldfinger right now, actually. God, I kind
Yeah,
of want to rewatch all of them because I need to get caught up. Like I need to watch the Lazenberry one again. I need to watch. I kind of want to revisit the Dalton ones just to, you know, maybe we're judging them too harshly, but I don't think so. I've never been
well,
able to watch him in anything else, man. The
for
disappointment ran that deep. You know what I mean?
for me, the problem was Daniel Craig did a good job. Pierce Bronson did a good job in the early years, but they kind of made it too. I don't
Oh,
know.
dude, yeah, his movies. What was that? Tomorrow's not
Tomorrow,
enough or something. Or
tomorrow never dies, and the world is not enough for the two Pierce
uh,
ones that I like the least.
what was
GoldenEye
the
was the
one?
best. Die Another Day, his last one. That one I don't like at all, but that's because I am not a fan whatsoever.
Oh my
What
God! I saw Die Another Day at the movie theater, and I totally forgot about it.
I am not a Halle
Wow.
Berry fan at all. So I wasn't a fan of it because I think she ruined the film for me. I'm not a fan of Halle Berry. Just not.
Yeah, me either. I don't think she's that great. Like, I think she's okay. I thought she was okay as Storm,
She did a
but
great job as Storm. It just
just
if you make
overall, yeah. I mean,
if you
anything but Storm.
if you make 20 movies and out of those 20 movies one character is good, doesn't make you a good actress.
Yeah,
She
I
she was
would agree with
she
that.
she was good at Storm, but I didn't like a lot. She did that John Travolta movie. I forgot the name of it. They had that TVR in it that changed colors, and that was the first time anybody ever saw in America a TVR, and everybody wanted to buy a TVR, and it was in every race car game ever, but the car is actually a shitty car. I can't remember the name of the movie. I didn't like
Right?
that movie. I didn't like that movie either. She did a movie with uh, Billy Bob Thornton, where they're
Yeah, that's the
fucking
one I'm thinking of.
they're fucking like crazy in this room, half butt naked. She's like, hit me there, hit me there. That's the spot. Yes, yeah. He's fucking her, and she's like, that's the spot. Hit me in the spot. I'm gonna come, and I'm like, this is terrible. It,
Dude,
so
she
it,
won an Oscar for that one, dude.
yeah,
She won an Oscar.
I just
But
don't like Halle Berry.
you know what's scary though, man? Is that she won an Oscar for that role. And whenever you say Halle Berry, that's the first scene I think of. Like, I don't think of fucking Storm. I think of her getting railed by Billy Bob on a couch. I don't know if that's great or not, but that's just where my head's at with that.
But I
But
have to
dude,
say,
okay,
I have
what
to
was the?
say,
Go ahead.
what I was going to say, I have to say this about Bond, um, is Q. No matter who played Q, I loved seeing all the fucking gadgets, dude. The
Oh
gadgets.
yeah, every movie that was like the payoff. Like what he would
Yes.
like, a watch that shoots darts, and pins that shoot bullets and shit and all this stuff, cars that disappear. And now, yeah, Q was always the man, dude. I like the old guy the best, though.
Yeah,
You
the
know, in
Q,
the,
the
in the
Daniel
late
Craig.
one,
Yeah, the Q for Daniel Craig, they made him very young. He was more like an
yeah, dude,
internet.
I hated it.
He was
I
more like
didn't
a
hate it. I was okay with it, but Q to me was the old guy. And
yeah.
obviously he passed away, and I get it. They really couldn't do much. But
After he died, they brought the Monty Python guy did it. John Cleese did it for a little while.
which he was okay too. Wasn't the old guy, but he was still fine. I like me some John Cleese.
The young kid did a good job, but it was just hard for me to believe that this young kid was in charge of the all the.
Yeah, dude, I hate that. That's kind of how they're appealing to the like Gen Z crowd to get them in. Like, doesn't it seem like all Gen Zers are like portrayed as super hackers? Like that whole fucking Ironheart thing in Marvel.
Yeah,
You know,
I get it. I get it. But my old ass wants to see an old man in there. I know it's just.
yeah, me too, man. I want to see some crusty old dude that's been tinkering around with explosives for 20 or 30 years, making dumb shit to kill people.
Just like
That's what I
I
want to see, man.
I remember when Goldeneye first came out, and everybody was pissing and moaning about M being Judi Dench. It's like she did a fucking smashing job, dude.
Yeah, dude,
If
she fucking, I love her as Money Penny, dude.
no, not Moneypenny, M.
M, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I love her as M, like the main boss or whatever.
Yeah, she didn't put up. She was straight. I mean, I think she did a better job as M than the original dude. She didn't
Yeah.
put up with no shit. She was like, I
And
don't know.
she
I
was
just,
fucking Judy Dench, man.
yeah.
She's fucking Judy Dench, man.
But
Now,
outside of that, go ahead.
help me out. Which was the movie with Denise Richards?
I do believe that one was The World Is Not Enough, but I'm about to look.
Yeah,
But I
where they
do.
had that big gigantic fucking boat that
Yes,
like
yes, yep.
another
The World's
boat
Not
came
Enough.
out of it
Yep.
and she played like a nuclear physicist or something, and everybody was like they were kind of ripping on that. Like, wasn't her name like Christmas Jones or something like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. American nuclear physicist Dr. Christmas Jones.
Oh, dude, it was Jones. I was right on there, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I had a big thing for Denise Richards back then.
It could have been. Janice Richards won the role, but Tiffany Amber Thiessen also went in for the role.
Well,
So
I'm glad Denise Richards, because to me back in the day, Denise Richards was like one of the hottest women in Hollywood. I know this is gonna sound weird, dude. It's her fucking nose, man. I don't know why, dude. Denise Richards' nose turns me on. Is that weird, dude?
yeah, that's fucking weird. People say feet, boobs, ass, eyes, and you're all
Yeah,
nose. Yeah, that is. It's kind of
yeah,
bizarre.
dude. If a girl has like this specific kind of nose, like it's kind of like a little button nose kind of deal, I go crazy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Who's that?
okay.
Who's that guy?
Steve. Steve
Man,
says
I
you
thought
have
we had a show tonight.
a.
But uh, but yeah, man, I like a little button nose. That's what I'm all about, man.
I'm a.
Uh,
I just. For some reason, Bond has been a film franchise that has they've made missteps, but they didn't totally fuck it up. Like
right,
all
they've
people,
always seemed to recover. You know what I mean?
like
Like for every
everybody,
misfire, okay, we'll just do better next time.
right? Everybody, shits on Marvel's turned out to be shit, and Star Wars has turned out to be shit, and Bond, it seems like when the movie gets announced, people get all, oh, here we go again. It's probably going to suck, blah, blah, blah. Because they think the
And
next one's going
everybody
to,
goes, yeah.
yeah, and
I,
then it
I
ends up being good. So I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
I totally forgot that I had went to see Die Another Day. No, what was the last Bond movie with Daniel Craig? Good Day to Die. Was that it?
No Time to Die.
Yeah, I saw that at the movie theater with my dad, and I totally fucking forgot that I had seen it. And he obviously dies at the end. But going on what you said, Bond is such a strong franchise that Bond is dead, and I still want another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how you bring him back. I don't care if he's black, if it's Idris Elba. But because I can't see any other black dude other than Idris playing him.
Well,
I just
they're talking about the next Bond being female.
no, 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 no,
But you
no,
say that, but until you, I don't. I'm gonna hold a reserve until I've seen it because
nope. I
I
will
don't
not
have.
do it.
It depends on who it is. It's got to be someone.
Nope,
It's got to be someone believable.
nope. I don't give a shit who it was. I don't
I
give a shit.
think. I think it needs to be the chick from Game of Thrones, dude.
Nope. I don't give a shit. I will
No,
boycott that shit faster. I will flush that shit faster than a Taco Bell shit.
nope. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to side. I'm gonna have to divert with you on this one. I think Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones. She was in
A
Star
little bit
Wars.
bulky, man.
I think
She's
she would. Nah, she's big. She fits the part of someone I could believe. You know,
would
being a
be a
Bond girl.
hard-nosed agent. I
Yeah.
just, man, for me though, I'm just sick and tired of every goddamn movie and every goddamn IP that's come out since 2016 has all been the strong, heroic female, and the male is weak and needs to be rescued. Fuck that, dude.
I don't have a problem with it as long as it's done right. Like
I do.
like Steve just asked, what if Bond was trans? I don't. For one, no government agency is probably ever going to hire somebody trans.
Right.
Um, Even though Britain is trans friendly, I don't think they'd ever hire a trans to be a
And
spy.
that movie would sink faster than the Titanic.
But I don't have a problem seeing a female Bond as long as it's casted correctly and it's they pick a good actress. Uh like I wouldn't want to see Halle Berry play Bond.
Now,
But
in A Good Day to Die, or the last one, they did have a female agent that took up the 007 mantle, and she was black, and it got a lot of groans from the audience. But they did it pretty like playful. They had both and everything, but I don't know. It would take a damn good cast, maybe Gina Gershon or something, no, who's that? Carano, the fighter chick
the
that was
one
in
who's
Chicago.
fighting, yeah, I know. What's your fucking name, Karan? I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she might not be too bad. I might buy that, but I don't. I just don't
Yeah,
want it. I don't want them to do it just for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be right.
that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna wait. I'm willing to wait and see because I don't have a problem with a female Bond as long as she's written good and it's not. Looky here, we got a woman part. It's got to feel natural.
Yeah, it's got to be like she worked her way up, and you know, it's just got to. But she's got to have the right swagger, man, for James Bond.
What I want to
But then again,
see,
I was
if you want to put a woman in the role, the proper way to do it would be to put two or three agents who whoever the new M might be, If they use the same one, I don't know. But M should be sitting at a desk with 3 folders with 3 agents, and it would be cool if there were 3 actual cases going on in one film instead of having one bad guy have 3 bad
Right.
guys, and have them kind of merge into one case. But whoever solves the case is going to be the person I choose to be my new Bond, my new code name 007. That way it can be it's not just, hey, look, we have a woman agent. We can see her earn it, and we can fall in love with the character watching her earn it. I think if we see her earn the job, do the work, we'll be more, oh, damn, she kicked ass. She fucking rocked. This was awesome. We may be more apt to accept it, as in, look, here's a woman, enjoy. You know what I mean?
Right, right. To see her like actually earn the title. That's kind of what they did in the last one, where they just kind of threw her in there, but she was earning her stripes as she went.
Right.
We'll
But
have to see. We'll see.
I just,
Let's.
I just don't understand. I really don't understand what happened. You know, I was a kid. I saw these strong women on TV, saw these strong women in movies. Yeah, they weren't the focus, but they played a big part in it. And now
Right.
sometimes they focus on it, and I don't understand why everybody gets so upset.
Well,
It's
I get so upset because it's so forced. Like it seems like an agenda at this point instead of storytelling.
well, that's
Like
what I'm. Yeah, for Disney, it's forced, but like there have been movies where you know the female protagonist is not. It feels natural to me. I'm trying to
right,
think
like
of some
Alien, and
Alien,
Silence of the Lambs, and there's plenty of them. But
the chicken,
to me, there
the
just seems to be a lot of emasculation of our IPs,
the
and
chicken
I
prey.
don't get it.
I had no problem with the chicken prey, the Predator movie with the.
I did. I'm sorry, dude. I liked Prey, and I thought she did fine. But to me, there's no way that that girl could have taken out a fucking rabid predator or a bear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't buy that shit. I just don't, man. But I mean, I don't want to come off as a misogynistic big asshole or whatever. I'm
I
just
believe
tired of, I'm tired
maybe
of the trope.
maybe with her being so girly and pretty, I can see it. But like we were just talking, that Gina Carano could probably beat up a shit ton of men. So
Yes.
seeing her do shit like that's believable. It has to
Yeah.
be, and that's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with a strong woman who can kick ass because it's believable. Being
If it's
forced,
believable, yeah.
right?
But
Being
Like
forced,
Ellen Page's Achilles, that's not.
like let's take for instance, what's her face? Hold on, don't lose me, don't lose me. She does a lot of action films and she's good at it. I can't remember her name. Give me a second. Just give me a second. Um, Her husband's the director.
Kate Beckinsdale.
No. Uh,
Uh, uh, um,
yeah, we're
Mila,
getting there.
Mila Jovovich.
Yes, Mila. Mila is a very small, petite girl who, cause she was a model, but for some damn reason, when I see her movies
The conundrum right there.
and I watch her, she kicks ass. You give her guns, she fucking rocks.
Well, see, that kind of feels natural. Yeah, like you said, I would buy her as James Bond. Yes, you make a good case, my friend, because that is one where it's like, okay, that's another IP that was a male dominated IP, and they turned the movies into a female driven IP. But it really worked because her
Right.
strength and everything. So if they did get a character, if they did get an actress that had her kind of strength, I would buy that. I would watch it because it's
And
hard to
she's got
deny how awesome Mila was.
and she's got a new movie out now called The Protector, And if you see the
Right.
trailer, it's a mother who was a former war hero, and she fucking kicks ass. But when I see her kick ass, I don't see, because of all the movies she's done, Monster Hunter, she's done a lot of action movies in the Lost
That was
Land. So with her doing Ultraviolet, I loved her in Ultraviolet,
Oh
but
yeah, that was a good one. I kind
because
of forget about that movie from
because
time to time.
she's done so many action movies, she is believable. So yes, I think she would be. Now I don't know if she could do a good British accent. That's neither here nor there. That would ruin it, if
Yeah,
But she would.
she's not good at dialogue, but she's not too bad. So
I just I just feel that Hollywood's in a position right now where there's a lot of shit going on. You get the race swapping characters, they're gender
they're
swapping
just
characters,
they're
and
just
it's
they're
like
making dumb decisions.
when it comes to certain things, I don't let it bother me. That I didn't When they said Charlie's Angels was coming out and Lucy Liu was going to be in it, I heard a lot of rumbling about there was no Asian chick in the original show. But I also remember the original show changing angels, so he can hire anybody he wants to be his angel. So if it's an Asian woman, so
Hell,
be it.
man, they just casted a Japanese dude as Mozart.
So it's
So
like, okay, when it comes to historical stuff, I get upset when they gender swap or race swap because it's
yeah, because
historic.
it takes you out of the entire thing, man. It takes
If
you
you're
out of the entire piece.
right,
I think it works for Mozart because the dude, like, it's like he doesn't he looks the part, he's okay for it. But like when uh they did Henry VIII's wife, Anne Boleyn, they made her black. It was kind of like, come on now. And then Helen of Troy, Lupita Nyong'o, a very darker skinned black lady is Helen of Troy. Like, come on, I'm not taking anything away from black ladies, but Helen of Troy was pretty well described in the Odyssey and throughout history. She's been a pretty straightforward character description. And I'm sorry, race swapping Snape is the dumbest thing ever, dude. The dumbest casting move of all time. And I don't know if I can get behind it, man.
was he described in the book as a white person, or was he
What,
kind of
Helen of
it not?
Troy? Yeah, Helen of Troy was a Greek.
No, 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 no. Helen of Troy. I know. I'm talking about. I'm talking about Snape. Yeah, because I've never read any of the Harry Potter
Snape,
books.
Snape was very, very much described as a like very pale, hollow skinned guy, kind of yellowish and sickly looking, and had black, greasy hair and everything. And it's not the fact that a black dude is playing Snape. It just changes the dynamic of the entire story. You know what I mean? Now there were certain things that happened to Snape that he did in his arc and that he went through that now have this weird racial undercurrent to them. And it changes the dynamic of the story. And it might be good. You know
See,
what I mean?
well, I can't speak on Harry Potter because I never read the books, so I
Yeah,
can't really speak on it. But when it comes to fictional stuff, when it comes to race swapping, there to me, I kind of, I don't know.
I'm
It
usually
doesn't
okay with it.
it doesn't bother me when it's something fictional, but when it's something like, here's for example, they did the live action movie of Attack on Titan, and
Right.
it was all Asian people. But if you watch Attack on Titan or read the manga, there are no Japanese people, and the one Japanese person is like they see in the manga is rare. So it's like, oh my god, look, it's a Japanese person. So they are all from different. They're Europeans. They're white. So it was weird seeing all Asians, but I get it. But when it comes to, so I'm okay with race swapping when it's fictional because you can have artistic license. I'm okay with that. My only problem with any kind of gender or race swapping is when it's historic. Unless they're taking the route of a science fiction movie, what if? Like, what if Hitler was a woman instead of a man?
Yeah, like in a different reality. Like, what if this was happening? I get that, but
Right, I'm okay with that. But when it comes to, live action movies, you know, I didn't even care that they made the Little Mermaid black. I didn't care.
yeah,
It
I
was
didn't care
just
about that too much.
it was
They were
but
just trying to ruff some feathers, and she could sing real good. So,
but
I
it
think
would
that's
be
what they were going for.
but
Kids.
it would be like a documentary, a docudrama about George Bush and them hiring a Puerto Rican to play Bush.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
Idris
I
Elba.
right I'd be like, no, that's not right. So when it comes to real life nonfiction shit, you got to leave it as it is. But when it comes to fiction, I guess just if the person who wrote the story, if what's her face is okay with Snape being black, then it's okay. She wrote the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's up
think
to the
she's getting.
creator.
I think she's getting paid to say she's okay with it.
I mean,
Who knows? It might be okay, but at this point, I'm not interested in it at all.
if the Wu Tang wanted to get back together and do a rap version of Master of Puppets, I'm not going to hate on it because
Yeah, that'd
it's
be
well,
fine. And I'm fine
so
with like Idris Elba being a man at arms. I'm okay with that.
dude, I'm okay with Idris Elba doing anything. Yeah,
Right.
there's been I don't have any desire to see that movie where they're trapped in the vehicle and the lions stalking them the whole movie. That I feel is probably not any good. But it's
Right.
not because of Idris. I think it's probably bad because of just writing. But everything, the first time I ever saw Idris Elba was in fucking The Wire on HBO.
Right.
And he played the drug dealer, the head of the drug dealer.
I can't remember where I first saw him.
And I've been in love with the dude ever since. The only movie of
He's
his that
pretty.
I besides that Lion one, there's one other movie I've avoided, and that's only because I know they did a poor job, and that was The Dark Tower. I have avoided The Dark
Yeah,
Tower.
dude, that's one I was going to throw out there. Where another example where they changed a character, they race swapped a character, and I understand if you read the Dark Tower all the way through, it explains that at the end of a story, a new story starts. And this was supposed to be a new story with a different gunslinger, but never once when I was reading the gunslinger books did I see that character as black.
I'm
Not
I'm
even close.
I'm not avoiding it for any race swapping things. I'm avoiding it because I always felt the Gunslinger should have been a TV series of some
Well, I
kind,
still think it should be. They
so we
tried to
can.
cram way too much into one movie, and it just did not work. It didn't
Yeah,
work at all.
yeah. I don't. They've done many series of this, that, and the other. I don't know why Warner Brothers chose to make it one movie instead
Well,
of doing that.
I almost think they wanted it to fail in some regards, but they wanted it to be a hit in the same. I can't explain it. Like they wanted it to be a hit enough to where it would broom up interest, but not be good enough to keep going as a film series, but to greenlight the miniseries. Like people were going to be like, "Man, that was good," but they left so much out of the book, and I wanted to see this, this, and this. So it would drum up more interest for a full-on miniseries. But it just nothing has happened. They haven't went ahead with it. It's an IP that is ripe to be done with, to
Yeah,
have something done with it.
yeah, I don't. But that's the only reason that's the only reason I've avoided it because every single person that I've ever met that loved the Dark Tower series does not like the movie.
Nah,
So
I didn't like it at all. I only read 3 of the books though, so I
There's like
read
what?
3 of the books, but got a synopsis
There's
of
like
it.
9 of them. There's like 9 of them, right?
Yeah,
Didn't he just recently finish the last one?
yeah, pretty much. Not too long ago,
So I don't know. But Bond is one of those that has it's literally stood the test of time.
and it still will. It'll still keep going. I'm taking my nightly pills.
And if anybody wants to complain that they think Bond is too sexist, they toned it down for the movies. Read the novels. He is a total asshole in the in the
Oh
books.
yeah, Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming totally wrote him as a perv, dude.
Yeah, I don't think Ian Fleming had much love and respect for women. I really I really
No,
don't think he
not at
did.
all, dude. Not at all. And in the later movies now, that kind of stuff isn't even in there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there was much of a romantic interest in the last one at all because the main Bond girl was the new Bond, the black agent.
Right. But you know what? As much as someone who's watched all the Bond films, I'll say this on the record too. Removing all that stuff that Bond did, I don't think hurt it at all.
Uh-uh.
You know, a lot of people will bitch, oh, they made him this. He's supposed to be a womanizer. It didn't take away anything from the films.
So,
So, and that's another thing about people nowadays in Hollywood. Sometimes for some reason society is turned into the most unhappy group of people in the world.
yeah, because I think it's
Everybody
social media.
everybody
That's how
hates
they
this.
that's how they get attention these days.
Everybody hates that. Like, I'm old and I know proper behavior and I know the way people should be treated, but I also know what life was like before now.
Yeah,
And
I
when
think
I
that's
and when
the
I
problem with
and,
our
and,
generation.
and when I
We know
see
what it was
old
like before.
when I see the way people were acted and behaved back in the day, I don't like I'm not going to boycott an old movie because it's sexist. That's the way it was back then.
Right,
Whether
right.
it's right or wrong is not the point. The point is that's how it was back then. They don't
Kids
make
these
movies
days, they don't understand nuance like we did.
like nowadays. Look, even when I was a kid and I would see guys, smack other coworkers, girls' asses at work. Even back in the '80s when I got my first job and saw that, I thought it was rude. Like, don't be touching people, dude. Just
Right,
don't.
right.
But at the same time, I never had a problem with the way they would talk. Oh man, you know, your
Yeah, that's just as
coworkers,
long as there was no, you didn't follow through on it and everything.
right? Like when the guy would come up and be like, "Hey man, do you see that new hire?" No, who? I said, "Man, you'll see her. She'll probably work with you tomorrow." Man, I just want to suck on those titties. Is it
Right,
crude?
right.
Is it crude? Yes, but we're guys. That's how guys talk to each other, you know. And it's like I know things change and people's outlooks change. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna listen to Christine 16 again. Shame on them. No, it's a good fucking
Yeah,
song.
it was just a time and a place. Hey, Grandpa, I got to get up and move around here for a bit.
All
My
right.
leg
Well,
is kind of going, and my phone's down to I think I'm at 18% right
yep,
now.
yep. We better
So,
get you off of here. So I'll do my promoting and let you get out of here.
sounds good, man. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry I got to cut early again, but after about 2 hours, I got a mandatory get up and move around, or my feet fall asleep. So,
That's cool. We'll see you next week.
yep, sounds good. Just I got to promote. Got backwoods. This Sunday we are doing Veronica by Glenn Danzig. That's a fine movie. So we got that Sunday at 6 p.m., I believe. And then got Mike J, The Return with Mike J and Rabbit and Red. We're doing that Tuesday. And then I got you again on Thursday. So That's all for me, folks. You guys take care, and I'll see you around.
All right.
All right, peace, man.
See ya. So they're doing Veronico on Backwoods. Dude, that took me 3 times. 3 times to watch that. Fell asleep. Fell asleep. And the third time I said, fuck it, I'll just pick up where I fell asleep. Because the first time I fell asleep. So the next time I watched it, I started over. Which should have been, I should have fucking realized not to do that. So I fucking started over and fell asleep again. Actually, didn't even get as far the second time. So I had to pick up where I left off the third time. Yeah, his vampire film is much better. But still own it. Still a Danzig fan, but some things should have just stayed on paper. That's all I'm saying. Should have just stayed on paper. But yeah, sick of the new wave thinking. People are just you know, gotta let things go. You gotta let things go. You know, we acted different back in the day. We don't act that way anymore. But you don't gotta sit there and harp on our movies and our music and our TV shows from back in the day just because you don't agree with it. Just let it go. Move on and enjoy the stuff you enjoy. Quit talking. Don't put energy into the shit you hate. Put energy in the shit you like. That's all I'm saying. So he's got Backwoods on Sunday at 6. I don't know. I don't even know if Michael J is on right now, so I can't. I don't know. I think it's 6 p.m. on Tuesday here on Rabbit and Red. I think it's Tuesday at 6. I could be wrong with the time. I don't know. Michael J doesn't tell me anything. He promoted the takeover for Rabbit and Red TV, but he didn't, which is tomorrow starting at 3:40. But he didn't bring up, what time Rabbit and Red is. So it's Tuesday. I guess you'll just have to wait and see what they post. And then we'll be back next Thursday. I am going to be on Saturday with a new Grandpa's Playlist, and I'm doing Elton John's Magnus Opus, the great Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. So that will be Sunday night, or Saturday night on GTN. So make sure you check that out, Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Yes, 7 p.m. Central on Tuesday. So I'm glad he was listening. So, yes. So at least I know he's still here. So, yes, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road from Elton John is on Saturday. Starts at 8 p.m. And then Sunday at 7 p.m., you have Tyrese Tavern. He's been doing good. One night, he had 80-something listeners. Dude, 80! So make sure you check out Tyrese Tavern, 7 p.m. Central, here on over on GTN. And then Tuesday, if he has the time, because he's making a movie, don't forget, Getting Livid with Ace. That's on. Starts at 8 p.m. Central, 6 Pacific. Getting Livid with Ace. And I will be back next Wednesday for Grandpa's Music Sideshow. So I took 2 weeks off. Like I said at the opening, had the gun club meeting yesterday. The week before, my wife had been out of town, so a lot of stuff got backed up, and I had a lot of stuff to take care of. And so I needed Wednesday off. So 2 weeks off. So that'll be back on Wednesday, and then of course this on Thursday. So make sure go to grandpathenerd.com. That's where GTN is, and that's where you'll find a link to Rabbit and Red, where you can follow everything Rabbit and Red. They got shows over there too, like anything Posy. Because 2 Posies are better than 1, I guess. Couldn't just be Posy. It's Posy. So you've got that. You've got St. Christopher with his freak show and all that stuff. So make sure you check out. My ear itched. Make sure you check out Rabbit Red's website. And then that'll link you over to Rabbit Red TV tomorrow, starting at 3:40. Grandpa's Takeover. I don't even think I've got. I don't know. Do I still have the artwork in the computer? Let me see. If I do, I'll show you. Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I know I do. Give me a second. Just give me a second, and I'll upload it. Don't go anywhere. It'll only take a brief second. It is. Well, I thought I had it in this folder. Maybe it's under webs. I'll show you the little one. I could have swore I had the big one somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. This will work. Fucking ears. This one will work. All right. There it is. Grandpa's taking over Rabbit and Red TV. So it starts at 3:40, and if you want to know where Rabbit and Red TV is, make sure you head over to Rabbit and Red's website, which you can find through grandpathenerd.com. So make sure you give me the website hit as you go over there. So yes, Rabbit and Red TV takeover. That's tomorrow. I'm gonna do one once a month. I'm also got another one coming up. I don't want to show you the thumbnail. It's a surprise. Family of Cops. That's all I'll say. Family of Cops. And then there's a link for Resurrecting the Slaughter. Help us out. Help us out. Help us out. We want to get this movie made. There's links there to camp on Rabbit Red for the Rabbit and for the Camp Out Nightmare, Resurrecting the Slaughter. It's Michael J's going through tons of headaches and driving me where I want to pull my hair out. You give advice, and you get you give him some advice, and then he doesn't take it, so you get crazy. So it's driving him nuts, driving me nuts. But hey, it is what it is. Help us out so we can get this movie made, so I can stop going crazy, because I'm in the movie. Well, I will be. So make sure you help us out there. Don't forget to visit lividmedia.org and help out Ken. He wants to have full funds for his death bitch. His goal is six grand. He's almost there. But you can help him out. Go to the store, buy some merch from Ken. He's got other movies there. All those proceeds go. Or you can also just pick out a plan. You can pick out one of his perks there to specifically help fund Death Bitch 2 and get something out of it. So make sure you check that out. lividmedia.org. And I think that's it. I do want to bring up something that's outside of the scope. I'm a huge fan. Look, I love wrestling. Okay, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And AEW lost me. WWE has lost me for the most part. I still watch the pay-per-views. I still keep up with it, but it's I could live without it, you know. Danhausen's really got me. Danhausen's really got me going back. Danhausen's part of the reason I really keep watching WWE. Him and Jacob Fatu. But anyway, I really love JCW. JCW, I'm going to make a video about my thoughts on wrestling for my page, but JCW has got the gimmicks. It's got the shit that made me fall in love with wrestling back in the 80s, and I miss that. I miss the kayfabe thing, and I watched a podcast on Thursday. It's only 35, 40 minutes, but it was Big Vito, the Don himself. He had a podcast, and it's over on YouTube under the Vito brand. Check it out. He did it all in kayfabe, and it was fucking brilliant. It was great. No one does it anymore. Everybody now, outside of wrestling, they do their interviews. You know, it's hard for me to fall in love with a match when of Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, when they keep going on interview shows and making posts about how good friends they are, and they came up together, and this, that, and the other. It takes away from it for me. It's like the whole thing. I don't want to know how the sausage is made. I missed it when it felt real. Which, when I do my video, I'll talk about more of that. But Big Vito brand, check him out over on YouTube. Check out his first podcast. He did it all, like I said, he did it all in kayfabe. It was great. Make sure you check that out. Other than that, I think that's it. James Bond. I enjoy doing it. I think it's one of my favorite franchises. Of course, yeah, I like Star Wars, stuff like that, but It's one of my, if you were to ask, anytime I hear the word spy, that's where my brain goes, right to Bond. It's any spy movie, right to Bond. And every spy movie I've ever seen since, I compare them to Bond films. That's how important Bond is to me. And sometimes I'll be like, that wasn't that best of a, that wasn't that great of a spy film because, it was no Bond. I do like the James Bourne films though, or Jason Bourne. I said James, Jason Bourne. Um, but other than that, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate everybody who showed up, and the ones who didn't show up. If you watch it later, I appreciate you too. I'd say the people who don't watch it, I have no appreciation for, but you would not know this because you don't watch it. But I know not everybody can watch it live. I can always tell by the numbers up there. But my numbers do a little bit better after. I get it. People have lives. People don't want to tune in live. I get it. Um, so, but hopefully over time we'll get more. But it is what it is. I enjoy doing this. It's not about numbers to me. It's not about anything. It's about I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy talking about Bond. So look out for a new video here or over on my YouTube page because I want to talk about wrestling. I want to make people angry because I'll probably get people angry and get some hate in the comments because I'm a boomer. Well, I'm not really a boomer, but that's okay boomer. They need to come up with a Gen X slogan for us instead of calling us boomers. They need to come up with something else because we're not boomers. But I can't think of anything that way. Okay, Gen Xer. That just sounds stupid. So I don't know. But they need to come up with something better than calling us boomers because we're not. We're not boomers. But anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I'm Grandpa the Nerd, and I will definitely see you next time.